Welcome back to the Wichita Toy Train Club YouTube channel. I'm Zachariah.
And I'm Chris, and big boys are in the house today.
They are. We have two of the newest Lionel Vision Line big boys. So, well, and they're two very different big boys.
Very different.
Very different.
Very obviously different.
But also very similar.
Yes.
So, they do a lot of things. So, we might as well just go ahead and start going down the list.
And just start diving into it. So, we need to start off with general features of it, and then all the specific features of it, because it's a Vision Line engine.
Yes, so there's a whole slew of stuff. So of course we have all of your standard Lionel legacy steam locomotive features that you would expect to find, such as all your LED lighting, your bicolor classification lights, your work lights, your cab light, again, bicolor classification lights on the rear of the tender as well. Your electrocoupler on the rear of the tender. It's and all your standard smoke features with your main stack smoke and your whistle steam smoke. And I mean, after that, then we get the Vision Line features.
Oh yeah.
So what do we get with Vision Line is after that we got our safety valve steam, blow down steam. So right back towards the cab is your blow-off valves in order to clean the boilers. So there would be steam shooting out from both sides. You get that. And your depleting coal load that was featured on the original Vision Line Big Boy almost 10 years ago.
Gosh.
Really 10 years ago for this video, because we're in 2024 now.
That's right. Man, that feels like it was just yesterday it came out, because when this came out, it was like, another one?
Another big boy? Oh my goodness.
We just had one. And then in reality, we didn't just have one.
No.
It's been some time.
Everybody will always say another big boy, but in all reality, it's you get that time that's passed, you get new people in the hobby, and they can always sell a big boy.
Oh yeah.
So
very famous.
So we get the depleting coal load, and then just to top it all off, you get the 3-speaker sound system. And as we've said before, that makes a huge difference, especially with these big articulated steam locomotives. It is a great feature.
And it's such a length.
Yes.
You just hear all the sound of the tender. It's like, well, it doesn't feel like you got the real power of this whole engine. And, the name Big Boy.
Right.
It needs that extra sound.
So those are just kind of your general features. If we get into kind of the specifics, because Lionel did a lot of different features for the different road numbers this year. 2023 anyway. And so those are features every big boy except for the 4014 restored oil-fired version, of course, doesn't have a depleting coal load, because there's no coal load.
Obviously.
We're just going to put that disclaimer there. From that, though, they did 4019 here, which we do have a example of. And 4019 had a very short experimental life with some smoke deflectors. So we do have those here. These are completely removable. Nice. So they're magnetic. They pop completely off. This is a nice brass piece. So the only downside is if you don't run the smoke deflectors on the locomotive, you have 3 little holes in the smoke box area, but I don't think that's a big deal at all.
No, I think it's worth it that you can take them off.
Yes.
So you're not stuck with it if you don't really want them off.
And I mean, it's prototypical with them on, or you could take them off and just be any other big boy on your layout. We went from a very prototypical experiment scheme here to pure Lionel fantasy.
Yeah. Which it's growing on me.
Is it?
Oh yeah. I never, in a million years, I was like, oh, the gray and the yellow, not for me at least personally. But now I've been seeing them in person more.
Yeah.
And man, they just pop out.
They do. I always thought UP never did a whole lot with a colorful paint scheme, but really the two-tone gray, the passenger two-tone gray scheme, is really nice. I mean, it's color. It's very subtle, but it matches UP to a T.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, and then throwing gray on a big boy. This has grown on me a little bit. I thought it was, just blasphemy.
Right. Why would you ever?
But the more we got to thinking about it, had the smoke deflectors existed and worked, it's not improbable that they would have continued. Lionel actually, or not Lionel, sorry, Union Pacific had originally planned, if the war had continued, to do another run of big boys. And they were going to be even bigger
Really?
than what the second order big boys was. So with that, if the bigger big boys took over the freight, I mean, it's not impossible that some of these smaller big boys would have handled some passenger. So it's not entirely fantasy, but it definitely is, because we didn't get that. We didn't get that far.
That would have been a sight to see.
It would have been. So, I mean, and since we're going into the prototype, we hit a little bit. I'm sure everybody knows something about a big boy. Union Pacific's 4014 has made big boy extremely popular.
Yes.
So they were designed and delivered in 1941 was the original order of big boys from 4000 to 4019. Yeah, 4019, right? Yeah, 4019 was the last of the original order of big boys. I can count, I think. So there was 20 original big boys, and then later on they ordered 5 more, so that'd be 4020 to 4024. And those, I don't remember when those delivered right off the top of my head, but they were a later version, so they got a lot of the some of the field modifications that UP did to the original version from the factory. And one of those is going to be your front after coolers. So on 4019 here, we still see the after coolers up on top of the pilot. The maintenance crew had a lot of issues with rocks hitting them, puncturing holes in them, or the sheer fact that they were right underneath the handrail. So if somebody got up there to work, you go put your hand right above a very hot compressed air line and burn the crap out of your hand. So they moved them underneath the pilot and out of the way. One of the other things that they probably did a lot of is they moved the dynamo. Originally from the factory, the dynamo was up over here underneath the firebox on the engineer side of the locomotive. And then they moved them up top here very early on because they realized down here they just got hit with all kinds of road grime. Lionel's model does not show the movement of the dynamo. All of theirs have the dynamo down low. So that is one of the things Lionel did not adjust in their tooling. What else did I forget, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. You know more about that than I do. I'm just here to say, wow, that looks cool.
Of course. So, I mean, again, there's so much information on Big Boy out there. If you guys want some more, there's plenty of videos. We're going to dive in more with the Lionel models here. So there are a lot of things that I actually forgot, naturally.
Good job.
Naturally. But one of those is going to be our darkened side rods. That's 4019 has the very in-service look with those darkened side rods.
Which looks really nice.
It does. I mean, right now it's very clean, so it doesn't look very in-service. But the difference, you can see them here, and of course you'll see some better running shots later on between the darkened side rods and the polished side rods on 4024 over here. So
well, especially with the on the black version.
Right.
I mean, those things stick out, the polished ones.
Right.
They look very clean because they're polished. But I think the darkened ones just, to me personally, look cleaner and they blend in a little bit better. It's not like, boom, there's your side rods quite as much. Obviously, other people have their own opinions. They like it better. I really dig these. I think it looks fantastic.
It's been a great feature Lionel's been adding to a lot of different locomotives here in the past few years.
Well, the other thing you forgot was the force coupler.
I can't even believe I forgot that. I actually forgot this had it when I got it. It's kind of sad, really.
I'm a little disappointed.
I was really excited about it when I read about it in the catalog too. So what that is, and maybe the reason is I don't understand the marketing term force coupler. Just because I'm a technical person, and that's not where the sensor is. So the force coupler, we'll bring everybody else up to speed here. The force coupler is their ability to measure the actual train behind the locomotive's force behind the locomotive. So it can adjust the sound, the smoke level. It does a lot of things automatically as you're going up a grade. So you're pulling really hard, or you get to that crest of that hill and you start going downhill, all of a sudden that train comes behind you, hits the back of the tender, and all of a sudden you go to a real light drift.
Oh yeah.
And on our layout here, it makes a huge difference because we do have some of those hills.
You're going up and down all the time on our layout, basically.
So, you guys are going to be really going to be able to hear the difference that force coupler makes.
And it makes a huge difference. And it's now having that makes it all automated because
Right.
I don't have one that has an engine that has a force coupler.
Right.
And I would, to add that little bit of realism, I would, as I went up the hill, I'd go and hit the button, labor, labor, labor. And so I'd get the same thing,
Right.
but I'd be doing that all manual.
Every time you went up
Every time. So it just adds a little, makes it more realistic, easier.
Right.
Without having to do all that work, which is awesome.
Yes. So, and the reason why we say force coupler, it's on, couplers on the back of the engine. We're trying to measure the train. The sensor for all of this stuff is in the locomotive because that's where the electronics need to be measured. So it's actually on the actual front pin of the trailing truck underneath the firebox is where that sensor hides. So that's what throws me off is it's really drawbar strength test. I mean, sensor is really what it is.
Well, it's the force on the coupler.
Okay, okay.
Come on.
So, like we mentioned before, both of these locomotives were featured in Lionel's I threw something on the floor. 2023 Volume 1 catalog. And we've done 2 videos now on locomotives out of this catalog. This was a solid catalog.
Oh, yeah. And if you haven't seen it, check it out right above.
So, and just to be clear here, I'm going to open this up a little bit. We had a number. I mean, you guys will get a better shot, of course, here in the video. I mean, this is one page of Big Boys. Flip the page. Here's another page of Big Boys, plus more passenger cars. And then we flip the page again, and then you get superset. So the superset was a really cool concept Lionel has done. It's full scale set with, your vision line front to back. MSRP on the superset, of course, was a hefty $4,500. But with all the vision line stuff you got in it, it was well worth it. You can actually still find them for a pretty decent price right now if you do find a dealer that has them.
Yeah, and that was a killer set.
It was a killer set. There are a couple videos out there on YouTube. You should check those out too. But like I said, so as far as I guess we'll go ahead and cover real quick some of the exclusive ones, or kind of the different Big Boys they did. So of course we have 4019 with its smoke deflectors. They did 2 Greyhound schemes. They did one with the yellow stripe you see here and one with the silver stripe. I'm not a huge fan with the silver stripe.
I would agree. I'd be curious how it looks in person.
Have
you seen one?
I have not. I don't think I have anyway. Not one of Lionel's models. I have seen a couple of the other ones. Maybe MTH done years ago.
I bet you we'd be in the same boat right now where we think but we see it enough in person, it might grow on us.
So, who knows?
Yeah, never know.
And then, of course, the LCC exclusive version was 4023. And then to top it all off, you have the 4014 in its current excursion version with the big. Okay, it's not really current because it doesn't currently have its big boy tender, but they did it with a big boy tender, the glossy paint, and the of course an oil fired big boy tender. One of the things I did look checking some of the pictures, not that it's a huge deal. But they did get the Stoker classification down underneath the road number on the cab incorrect. Since it got changed to an oil burner, the Stoker is no longer there, so it has an oil burning system. So they did change that classification. And little tiny letters underneath the cab. If you're a crazy UP purist, maybe that matters to you. If not, it's just fun information.
Yeah. Man, and since we're now talking about coal and oil, just looking here at the gray one, this black coal load really stands out against the gray. But the other thing is I wanted to notice and point out is on this version, the depleting coal load, it's not shiny.
Right.
It doesn't have that glimmer in it. It's a nice flat black.
So I have a 4014 from the original run of Vision Line Big Boys, and I had it here with me today, and that's one of the first things we realized is I guess the old one was shiny.
Yeah.
So it's got a different rubber mold, and since we're talking about the coal load, one thing I would go ahead and point out: if you do get one of these, do your best when you're done running it to make sure you fill it back up. Of course, we'll show a time-lapse example of the coal load, but run that back up so that way you don't leave strain on that rubber coal load, because really what they use is a fishing string inside there. And if you leave that tension on there, eventually that fishing string will pull through that rubber eyelet and rip it out of there. And now all of a sudden you have a coal load that doesn't go down, which can be fixed. It's just fun.
Preventative maintenance.
There you go. It'll last much longer. Mine finally did it after almost 9 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, really 9 years, and you
bad.
know how much I ran that thing.
Oh yeah, every day, up and down, up and down.
I ran, when I got that original big boy, I ran that thing a lot. It's got a lot of miles on it.
Yeah.
So one of the other things we wanted to mention about, again, since I had the previous version of the Vision Line Big Boy, is a sound issue.
Yes.
I was a little disappointed when I realized it.
Heavy discussion topic.
So there were some other people that had pointed it out, that the whistle seemed really kind of soft. And you do everything you can. There are no actual volume pots on the newer electronic locomotives. Everything's done from your Cab 2 or your Line Chief app. Both of those things will turn up, handle both versions of your sound volume, so you can double check everything there. But on these locomotives, I've had mine open. I'll shoot up a photo for you guys to see, just kind of check out what's on the inside of these. But the front speaker has no sound enclosure over it, which I think that's what I feel was lacking.
Yeah.
We'll definitely cut in some shots here of the whistle between the current version and the 2014 run of the Vision Line Big Boy, so you guys can hear the difference. And let us know what you guys think.
It is a massive difference. It's terrible, honestly. That baffled is a requirement.
I think it is. You know, I've seen some locomotives without the baffle, and I didn't think anything of it really at the immediate time, because they still sounded okay. I mean, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But they don't sound this bad. This one sounds bad.
This one sticks out.
It sticks out like a sore thumb. And, you know, as we were talking earlier today, I was like, maybe they actually installed the wrong speaker. And I didn't think I mean, I've had this locomotive for a while. I never thought to check the speaker. So that is one thing I will double check. And hopefully by the time this video goes out, I'll have some information down in the description below on that.
And the only way I can describe the sound at the current moment is it sounds like it's a tiny speaker out of an HO-sized engine. You just have that little bit of, I don't know, it's just a tiny computer speaker, you know, in a tiny tender of an HO engine.
And what really makes it stand out is you get that out of the front, but the back you still have your two big Lionel beefy sounds. So it just, like, what happened to the engine?
Yeah, it doesn't help
sounds?
its case.
It doesn't help its case here. I mean, it could be the sound file. There could be a lot of things that made it sound the way it does. And like I said, I think this enclosure is one of them. I want to double check that speaker now the more I think about it. So that's one thing I'll do, and you'll find that information down in the description. And, you know, if that's all good, it could just flat out be the sound file, which I really, that's sad. I wish Lionel would have put a recall out for those.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think it's that bad.
Yeah, honestly.
And I mentioned this to Chris a while back, and I don't think he realized how bad.
No, not at all.
How bad it was.
Until I heard it today. Not at all. I didn't think it was that bad, but man.
So we'll go ahead, since we're talking about it, we'll jump over, we'll listen between 4019 and the original 2014 version of 4014. So we're over here at the layout with all three big boys here. We have 4024 on the back, 4019, and then 4014 from the original 2014 run of Vision Line Big Boys. So what we're going to, I have 4024 on the very back track is currently shut off. It's kind of just background. We're going to go ahead and start with 4019 here. We're going to go ahead and listen to the whistle as it is right out of the box. It sounds all the way up. This is the original first choice whistle that comes out of the box. Give a listen to that. not a bad sounding whistle. Probably hard for you guys to tell. For me, I hear more of that coming out of the tender. But I mean, either way, it's a good sounding whistle. So let's go ahead and listen to 4014 from the original 2014 run of Vision-Line Big Boys and see what that whistle sounds like. It's a very much, way more noticeable on the 2014 run of Vision-Line Big Boys. 4019 just sent off its safety valve steam, so we get a little bit more background noise with it right now. What I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to jump back to, well, here, we'll do 4014 here first. Can't decide what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I have my pocket knife here, and I'm just going to hold that right there at that infrared tether, which I'm not sure if you guys can see where that is, but that's okay. And what this is going to do is it's going to stop the signal going from the locomotive to the tender. So when I blow the whistle now, we are only going to get the locomotive whistle. We're going to go ahead and, again, this is the original run, 2014 Vision-Line Big Boy. Front speaker only. Okay, and now let's jump up to the newest 4019. The safety valve steam finally stopped, so we have that noise out. This is the 4019 from the 2023 catalog with the front speaker only. Probably hard for you guys to hear. It's because it's not doing a whole lot of anything. That is, I mean, I'm all the way up, I am down on this whistle. Take this out, and we get everything back. So, that is the unfortunate thing we have found with this run, Vision-Line Big Boys. Again, let us know what you guys think down in the comments below, and check out the description, and I will let you know my findings on whether or not the speaker is the correct 8-ohm speaker. Looking at the underside of the Vision-Line Big Boy here, we can see there's a lot of stuff down here. Mainly wheels. Inside joke. Anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll start all the way down here at the trailing truck. We have a few things we can go over down here. Of course, right here is going to be where that force coupler is. If I move this, you can see that screw move ever so slightly, and that's that sensor that's actually measuring the force you're putting on this pin right here. So that is the force coupler, and that's where I get confused. Like, that's not a coupler. So I'll get off my soapbox, I promise. Anyway, so we have our nice looking trailing truck here. On the gray one, we do have the cylinder caps on here. Again, always a lot of wheels, a lot of axles, oil anywhere we got the end point of the axles going into the plastic bushings or the metal frame. We have these nice separate handrails right here, and make sure those are nice and threaded in, because those will come out and they'll fall out on you. Down here we have our Legacy serial number. On the other side we have our Vision-Line serial number that you guys can't see, and I can't even see all that great, but that's where it is. Moving on, we can go to our first engine here, and we do have there's one center rail pickup roller, traction tires on the rear axle of the rear engine, and again, just go crazy with your oil. Again, crazy in spots, not crazy on one spot. Again, one small dab handles everything, but all of your side rod gears, everywhere where we have our axles going through those bronze bushings down in the frame, that's a great spot to hit it. Moving further up, we have the first gearbox for the locomotive. Again, there was not a lot of grease in these. I would go ahead and take those two screws out. They're very long screws. They're very small screws. I would highly recommend picking up a set of Japanese industrial standard screwdrivers, as that's what is typically what these locomotives are built with. They look like Phillips, but they are actually different. That way you don't strip out those little tiny heads and pull that cover off, shoot some more grease down in there if you're a really heavy runner like I am. But again, more valve gear, rods, side rods, axles through the frames, more oil. There's our second center rail pickup roller. There's 4 on this total locomotive for good electrical contact. As we move forward to the front engine here, again, we have another set of traction tires on the rear axle of the front engine. And again, more side rods, more valve gear. It's a big boy. It's articulated. There's a lot of this stuff. Here's our front gearbox. Again, I would take those 2 screws out and squirt some of your favorite grease down in there just to make sure everything's good and lubed up inside the front gearbox. And after doing all of that, we can come up here to our front pilot. A front pilot truck. Again, I always put a little oil there on where those axles go through here. And while we're up here on the front pilot, I want to go ahead and talk about the dummy O-scale coupler. This locomotive does come with one, and so the JLC Big Boy, the 2014 Vision Big Boy, and now the 2023 Vision Big Boy are all the same molding, so this process is the same for all of them, and if you want to put that up there, it is a little bit of a process. So I'm not going to do it today, but I want to go since we have it upside down, I want to go ahead and just talk about it real quick. So as we can see here, our scale coupler is hiding down in there, inside this frame. So in order to get this screw out, so you pull out your scale coupler and put in your dummy O-gauge coupler, what you're going to have to do, and I'm going to scooch that over to the side right there so you guys can see, we have 2 screws right here. You're going to take those 2 screws out. That's going to take off your front deck, the front deck plate off of the front pilot. You're going to kind of move that out of the way. Your headlight's going to be attached to it, so there's going to be a wire there. You're just going to scooch that out of your way, flip this engine over, and you're going to have 2 more screws. And what that's going to do is that's going to remove the entire front pilot assembly and still leave this cage still attached to the locomotive. And then once the whole front pilot assembly is off to the side, you can flip those out and redo that entire process. Again, it's doable. It just takes a little bit. Looking at the tender now, we can see it's kind of a tender, so there's not a lot going on here, but we have our whole centipede set here. So on the very rear, electrocoupler, the locomotive does come with a KD mounting pad. You can take this coupler off, open it up, unplug it, and put on your KD mounting pads for your scale couplers. Moving on from there, we have, again, like I said, our full centipede sets here. So I hit where all of those wheels go into the bronze bushings on the ends of each wheels, your center rail pickup rollers with a little dab of oil. We have 2 of them for good electrical contact. Our IR sensor for the LCS sensor track is right here. So that's great for programming and all the benefits you get from an LCS sensor track. Moving forward to your front, kind of a front pilot truck for the tender. And the fun thing about the UP Centipede tenders, we have 2 more axles, again, more oil. And on the very front here, we do have a kinematic drawbar on the big boy here. So I believe this is, that was one thing they were going to put on the Vision Challengers, but that didn't make it onto the Vision Challengers. So it was great to have this on the big boy. And when I compared it to my 2014 Vision Line Big Boy, I didn't see a lot of difference, though, between the 2014 Vision Big Boy tender locomotive gap versus the 2023 tender locomotive gap. So you guys got to hear that difference there. It's a little embarrassing,
unfortunately.
It's disappointing, is what it is.
Especially when you spend so much money on an engine that is allegedly the highest quality that they produce.
Right. So that's where I say I kind of wish Lionel, and maybe not enough people complained to him for him to realize that there was an issue with the production model.
So maybe it'll happen in the future.
I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. If it is a sound file issue, I really wish there was a way that they already have Bluetooth on these boards. I really wish they would make it a way to be able to push some file updates to the locomotive without having to send, again, almost a $3,000 locomotive halfway across the country. Because the MSRP on these locomotives was right at $2,900.
Well,
if you go through a decent Lionel dealer, you got a pretty decent discount on that retail price. A few dealers, again, still do have some of these in stock. You can go ahead and check those out and pick one up for yourself.
Yeah.
But I guess the only other thing I was going to point out, I completely forgot about, is the white lettering on underneath the cab and on the tender. On the black versions, Lionel, all the big boys, they've always used white lettering. UP stipulated on all their black steam locomotives it would be an aluminum color.
Oh, that's right.
On the CSA2 Challengers, that was a beautiful aluminum color. I loved that. And then this came out, and I was like, oh, they did white again. I've never seen a big boy with the correct aluminum on it.
Yeah.
The FEF3 that I have from 2007 has a great aluminum on it. I think Lionel's sound or probably their print file for the big boy it just says white, and they haven't updated it.
Yeah.
So more than likely, I'll probably shoot them an email and go, "Hey, FYI," and they need that help with some of these things. If any of you guys know something, you see something coming up in the catalog, something really tiny and specific, shoot them an email. Shoot any of the manufacturers. Shoot them an email. If they're doing a catalog with 200 SKUs of different locomotives, it's hard for them to know these very small, minute differences. I mean, you don't have to be a really mean person about it. You can just give them some information, give them some sources for that information so they can see that for themselves.
And hopefully they fly with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's I have done that. I actually had sent a photo for the Stoker for the excursion version of 4014. I was a little I'd done that when they did the version of it back in 2019, which would have delivered in 21, and it didn't make it on that model. I had actually expected it to make it on this version, and obviously, again, the file just didn't get updated, unfortunately. But it's you do what you can, and like I said, we're all in the hobby together. So, other than the speaker issue, hopefully we figured that out.
Right.
If we do, I will definitely make a small, short video for it.
Yeah.
And if not, well, we'll just kind of have to keep hoping Lionel figures it out. And other than that, these are great locomotives. Though.
Fantastic. And they better be for Vision Line.
They better be for Vision Line. That's right.
So I don't have much else to say about them, honestly. Do you?
No. We'll go ahead. After we're done here, we'll jump to the layout, check out the sounds, and we'll be off to the races.
Thanks for subscribing and hitting that bell. Let us know what you think below. We'll see you in the next video.
See you next time. Over here, ready to do the polling test. I got Chris here holding our very scientific force meter. So we're going to go ahead. We all took bets over here. We're thinking anywhere from 4.5 to 4.7.
I'm going 4.7 on the high end.
So we'll see what happens here. Go ahead and right now we're going to try a live feed, so we'll see what the actual force is, and then we'll switch it to a peak and see what kind of peak pulling power we can get out of this thing.
We got 3.3, 3.4.
So that was maybe a little disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here, and I think that's right. Yeah.
I think so.
I think it's just the first peak setting. So we'll go ahead and we'll give the peak a try. Maybe it's a little lower than we thought.
Yeah. I was hoping for that 4.7. We bet real money. I'm just kidding.
we might have to pull 4019 up here, do the same thing, just to confirm. So we'll try the peak here.
Wow. So we're stuck right there at 3.7.
So yeah, we're stopping at 3.7. Just for the heck of it, we might jump 4019 up here and just see what she does. We just did 4023, right? 4024. I know exactly what locomotives we have with me, I promise. So we just did 4024, and it was a little less than we expected. So just because of that, we grabbed 4019 here. We're now attached to her, so we'll go ahead and try the test over again.
Oh.
A little better.
Still 3.7, what is it, 4.1 range?
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll try our peak here. and see if we get anything a little better out here.
Oh,
Yeah,
it'll pull past.
It'll pull past. So we did much better with 4019. So there's a little variability. 4024 might have been, the traction tires might be a little more worn.
I think we need to do it again.
Do we?
I felt like it would pull and then it would release a little bit and then pull again, meaning it would make that peak higher and higher.
Higher, okay.
So I think we should just, for safety, do it again.
Okay, let's do it again.
So I don't know, how did you reset that?
You just want to redo the peak or redo
yeah,
both?
Let's do peak.
Okay.
You have it on peak?
No, hit the peak one more time.
There we go.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Let's give it another try here.
All right, one more try on the peak, or we'll pull past that 0.6, so not worried there.
Wow. Wow, I mean, okay, well, it wasn't lying.
We're about 5.5, so I'm gonna say you get anywhere from 4.5 to 5 pounds of pulling power with these new big boys. 4024, I mean, one of these has got to be a fluke. We're real scientific here, so
obviously.
with our very small test period of 2, that's what we got. Let us know what you guys think. We're over here. We're gonna go ahead and take them for a spin around the lamp. We'll start up 4019 here, listen to some of the sounds. We only have one train with us here today, so we'll probably just swap out 4019, 4024 a little bit with the same train. So we'll start with 4019 here, and we'll switch over to 4024 a little later on. Go ahead and get her started up.
Train 1 brakeman to train 1 conductor. East end of the train is clear. Clear to depart westbound on your signal. Over.
Train 1 conductor, 4019. Station work is complete. You're okay to proceed. Let's pull.
We get those great new Lionel startup sounds with a road number specific crew talk. That is always great to get from Lionel. And right off the bat, we get a ton of smoke from the front main stack and leaking out of the whistle. There's our safety valve steam going off. Since we're starting with smoke, there's our whistle smoke. And to cap it all off, we'll go ahead and give our blowdown a try. Blowdown's a little harder to see. Hopefully you guys got to see a close-up shot of that a little earlier on. We'll go ahead. The safety valve steam has a specific timer, and either until that time's out or we start and get above a certain speed step, it continues to go. It goes automatically, or you can activate it with the aux3 key on your cab 2 remote. We'll go ahead and we'll go through some of the whistles here. There's your main whistle. There's a little deeper of the same 3-chime Hancock. There's a little higher. So that is whistle number 3. Whistle number 4, definitely not a UP. It's very familiar. I can't think of what engine I've heard that in. And then I don't know. If you have a sane mind, you'll use one of the first 3. Let's just put it that way. And there we go. There's our great 3-chime Hancock big boy whistle. Go ahead and get some of the bells. There's your standard bell. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And back to our original. Assuming I can count. I'm pretty sure that was right. Anyway, let us know what your guys' favorite bell and whistle is, and we'll listen to some of the crew talk. We've ran it a little bit, so our coal load's down. We'll go ahead and top that off. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we'll go ahead and top it off. Apparently it really wants to go because our safety valves just popped off again. And we'll see if we can get some clearance.
Call out is heading your way. Make sure everything's good. 4019 to Ogden. Errors made. Brake test complete. Are we clear full? Hold for track orders. Out. Hold full. Out. Hold full. Out. Dispatch, this is UP 4019. Station work complete. Ready to head west. Can I pull? You're cleared onto the main. Out. Dispatch, this is UP 4019. Clear signal in the cab. We're underway. Over. Roger that. Have a good run. Out. Dispatch, this is UP 4024. Pulling in now. Am I clear inbound? Over. Copy that. All clear inbound. Out.